Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Relix, and today I have a small Advance Wars video that I just wanted to share. I felt like this was one of those kind of videos I felt like would be a good example to show you guys that, hey, we're not afraid to use artilleries here, and they prove to be quite useful even with a commanding officer who is not necessarily the best as far as defense is concerned. One reason being Hawk has a extra attack boost for his day-to-day powers, right? 10% extra attack boost, as you guys can see on the screen. And this is a mirror match, so playing offense is usually how I think Hawk's usually works. Not to say you can't play defense, but for the most part that's usually how I would play Hawk, is just to be very offensive. I'm not usually defensive. So if you guys have seen my previous videos, I can be quite aggressive with my moves. And for the most part, I'm not a huge indirect user. But, when it comes to maps that kind of look like this, where there's a lot of terrain, interesting terrain that, can change the dynamic of the game, I think artilleries come in handy. So this is a video where I'm just going to give you an example of how that happens. So, first of all, it's been a while since I made an Advance Wars video. Not much for me to put out there. I mostly play public games, if you guys haven't noticed on the channel, if you've been here a while. So there's not much for me to put out. As far as my ranked games in the Global League, my past couple haven't been exciting at all. So there's not really much for me to show. So I do apologize for you guys who are here for Advance Wars content. I just felt like, I need to get my game back on, maybe, but here's something, for you guys to watch in the meantime. And I do apologize, it's not exactly going to be the most exciting game for sure. This guy's not exactly the best player, but I did feel like sharing this just because I felt like sharing something. So here we go. So for starters, this map is called Irrational Anger, and it's quite an interesting map, to be honest. It's a 3-base map, 1 comm tower each in the middle, with headquarters in the center as well. I'm not a big fan of headquarters not being in range to be protected by your bases. However, this one isn't too bad, just because artilleries can protect your HQ. You can send one up right here in the top where I am, or you can send one down here for the red on the plains. So it is technically protected, but a little bit out of the way. So it's not the biggest deal. I think the balance on this map is pretty good. Overall, not great, but also not bad. So it was a fun match. So obviously I'm going to skip a couple turns just because, yeah, he builds infantry, I build my infantry. Obviously move out for the neutral base after 1 turn. He does the exact same thing, going for the capture, but he's going to capture the base, I believe, first. So nothing special here for the capture phases. Yeah, so he does the same exact thing. So once we start moving out, the capture game is pretty boring to look at. But he does build the first vehicle, which is an artillery. We do have this pipe here in the center as well. That's blocking pathway to the center as well as your HQ. Might play a part, but overall it's not something that I feel like is most important to deal with, considering that on each side, we have 1 base on each side of the pipe, right? The middle base can support either side depending on which side needs more help. So as far as a balance for the map, I think that's pretty good. There's no reason to break this pipe down really early. So I built a tank, whereas he built an artillery. The reason I built a tank is because there's really no reason for me to build artillery yet, considering that he has nothing over here. So I figure even though he's going to go capture, I'm going to get a first strike on his infantry regardless of what he does. So again, he moves artillery to the left side. He built it out of the middle base, by the way. He built it out of the middle base and not one of the side bases. So he's pulling it over here. The mindset, I think, for here was he's going to try and break open the pipe. However, if he was going to do that, he should have built it out of this base. So it is spending an extra turn traveling over to the pipe. So I do think that was a mistake. So again, just capturing some stuff. I forego the comm tower just so I could get this guy here. Threaten to capture this one, maybe, but obviously I'm not going to do that because that's just sacrificing an infantry for no reason. By the way, if you guys obviously have noticed now, I am the new country, Azure Asteroid. So obviously congratulations to the creator of Azure Asteroid for winning the competition. It is the new country. There's 3 more, I believe, that are going to come out over time. Personally, I mean, I liked it. I liked the Azure Asteroids, but I wanted the Foxes to win. I forget what they're called. But congratulations to them. So obviously, I am going to be using them because I do like the little blobs. They're kind of cute. So, anyways, that was a quick sidetrack right there. His artillery moves into position to attack the Pipes team. Obviously, I kind of saw that coming. He wants to get his airport. Obviously, as Hawk with extra attack, you want to get air units as well, especially with all the terrain on here, mountains, forests, you know, and then of course the water in the middle cuts off anti-air support, right, from one side to the other. So battlecopters could be useful, but we'll see what happens. So he builds a tank to apply to my tank on the right. Again, I'm going to get a free shot in that infantry now because it's a little too late. So that's a little head start for me. And then, of course, I build my own artillery on the left side. At the time of building this, I won't lie, I didn't think about what I would use it for necessarily. I thought to myself, I'm going to, you know, use these mountains as my walls so that vehicles can't attack it. However, in a couple turns, you'll see what I did. That will change the game. So obviously, he's still going after the pipe, breaking it down to 55 now. And his infantry are going for his rest of his properties. Builds another artillery in the middle. Again, in the middle. Not the sides, which is quite interesting. Alright, so my turn. Catch my comm tower. Finish off my cities. So artillery moves. Form a nice wall around these mountains. None of my guys can get hit right now. And he can't attack anything. So that's perfect positioning for my first artillery. I built a second artillery in the top right and an anti-air in the left. So the anti-air is in preparation for the airport. But then I realized something on my next turn, so I'll tell you in a second. So he did break open, oh no, he did not break open the pipe yet. So next turn he will. So again, the artillery is staying in the center now, the middle one. And it's probably going to attack the pipe next. He builds a tank in the middle. So again, another vehicle in the center, not the sides. Quite interesting. My turn rolls in. My infantry moves over, and I put my artillery on the city. So now, not only does it have extra defense, not only can it get repaired if it gets attacked, but now I am watching the airport. And I still have good positioning to help defend my infantry if they get attacked. And so I was like, oh snaps. I didn't think about it when I built the artillery, but I can lock down this airport from being captured. And I was like, that's genius. And over here, he can't do the same thing. So if I were to break down my pipe, I could get my airport, and he wouldn't be able to stop me. But obviously, it's still going to take a couple turns to do that. So, you know, I'm not thinking about that right away. But since he has no tanks, my anti-air is still free to attack his infantry as well. So I built two more artilleries out of my bases. So now I have 2 on each side. So that's quite interesting, right? I know I've seen other YouTubers say that, you know, it's not great to play with artilleries very aggressively. You know, overall it's like not the best moves. However, I think as long as you know how to use the artilleries correctly and position them, you know, in relatively good spots, you know, they can be useful in any situation, including live games. And by the way, this game, while it's just a public game, it was kind of played semi-live. There were moments throughout the day we played this that it just kind of went, you know, boom, 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 boom. We didn't really waste too much time to think about our moves. So, for the most part, it was relatively live, but it's not. So he goes for the capture, using his infantry to attack my guys. So, very aggressive. But the only problem is his vehicles are kind of out of position. Artillery can't actually protect him with his infantry, and tank is still out of range as well. So I thought that was quite an interesting move. He also interrupted my captain in the middle. As you guys can see on the captures on the side, he has 17,000, I have 15,000. I will get my last one as well, but he is trying to prevent me from matching, so that's kind of interesting. Not a big deal to me, to be honest. He builds 3 tanks this turn as well. So, alright, you want to attack? Well, I'm not going to let you have the airport, that's for sure. So I'm going to hit it, do 7 damage, nice. Regroup my infantry. His tank can reach, but there's nothing really here to threaten my artillery. Even if he attacks with the infantry, it's only going to do like 1 or 2 damage. So I'm perfectly fine with that. Anti-air comes in, free kill, awesome. Other artillery, using the mountain that my infantry is on currently, and my anti-air, now has a nice wall. So again, nothing he can do to attack me. And I obviously use the rest of my infantry to help support. And here I just destroy his infantry because I don't want him living. I know I'm not going to be able to capture this because he's probably just going to stop me. So there's no point. I might as well just kill all the infantry I can. And so I also set up my artillery here as well. This tank can't hit my artillery. Even if he kills this infantry, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He'll be on the city. So again, my artilleries are in prime position to cover all of my guys. It's perfect positioning. And again, like I said earlier, this is semi-live, so there's no, there's no time for me to really think about how I'm playing this, because we are watching each other play, and we are just doing our turns rapid fast. So he uses infantry, kills another one of my guys, not a big deal. He is breaking open the pipe, has a couple left. So again, he used the infantry to kill my guy, to stop the capture entirely. Keep sending infantry to support as well. And his tanks move up. So he breaks open the pipe. So now he can move his middle base to support the center and change sides relatively easily, compared to me where I have to go around the pipe either this way or that way. Again, like I said in the beginning of the match, as long as you kind of understand which side needs help more, you can send your infantry or your vehicles whichever way. If you guys haven't noticed, I've been sending infantry left and then I have been sending infantry right almost every turn, depending on which side I want to support more guys with. So I get a nice free shot with my artillery. It's a 1 shot, no less. That was pretty incredible. Is that accurate? I don't even know. So it is pretty accurate, 97 to 105. That was definitely a luck roll because I have a small chance to not one-shot him. But yeah, I got him. 1 shot, perfect. I start capturing again. Again, move my infantry up. I start to break open the pipe a little bit. Artillery gets a nice free shot on this guy here instead of finishing off the airport. If he regroups with his 10 infantry, it makes it another 10. Again, I do 7 straight damage. Even without the damage calculator, we can see that it will do straight up 7 damage. So it'll still be 1 short. And then after that, the infantry are still out of position. He won't be able to regroup a second time. So the airport's still locked down. He's not getting it. Which is unfortunate for me because I built this anti-air in preparation for the airport. However, it doesn't really have a chance to be used because there's only tanks, there's no air units, so the only thing it's really good for is killing infantry. So again, he interrupts my capture. Again, he doesn't want me to match his capturing amount, which is interesting. I don't really care about the income. I'm already winning in unit value and units on the field. So it doesn't really matter. As long as I keep getting free shots with my artillery, I'm happy, So again, he goes after my guys. Killing them, not a big deal. So now he's got a pretty good amount of units here, but they're still not in range to deal with my guys. And again, my artilleries are in such good positioning that there's nothing to worry about. And not to mention, the airport is now free to die. I don't need to shoot anything but the airport. So stop that capture as well. So again, my guys move up a little bit. Another free shot with my right artillery here. I stop the capture. I go for repairs, because why not? Start the capture again. And again, I want to just keep drawing him in, using my tanks as walls. He can't kill them. And I'm going to break open my pipe on my next turn. So everything's going pretty good. And again, I move my artilleries out of the way, making sure they're capable of defending all my units, as well as just, you know, making sure he can't get through. Heck, I even move my artillery in range of his tanks just because. Feel free to do it. You're not getting your airport. I don't even need this anti-air anymore. I'm just going to start hitting infantry for free. So I build a couple more tanks. And again, sending infantry right, sending infantry left, taking turns kind of thing. So again, he moves in, attacks, hits the infantry, and then he's going to use his tank to attack my artillery. And I'm like, alright, that was interesting. And again, interrupts the cap one more time. Sending more tanks over there. Artillery, not doing anything. I don't know what he's doing with these artilleries over here. It's not going to help him anyway. Same thing with the bottom left ones. They're not doing anything, right? So, my turn rolls in. I'm like, alright, you hit my artillery. Good job, good job. I get a free shot on the tank. I get a hit on the infantry. I kill it. I even move over this guy just so he can help block. Free hit on the tank. Repair my artillery. Tank moves over, kills that tank. And I hit the other infantry. So I accidentally moved this guy onto the city where I should have just moved this tank onto the city. But either way, I left myself open. Instead, you know, hey, if he wants to use this tank to attack my other artillery, he could. Otherwise, I'm just going to get the free hits anyways. I mean, I have 4 tanks now to his 2 tanks here. It's not going to be a big deal if my artillery gets hit. And on the left side, my artillery is moving to position again, defending all units, and you can't attack into this tank either because I have another tank to support. And I even build my medium tank to reply to his medium tank, but he resigns, knowing that there's really nothing he can do. So it was a quick match, really quick match. But this is just me showing an example of, again, like I said, we played this relatively live for a public game. It was you know, 7-day increments and stuff like that. But we didn't really spend time thinking about our moves. We just kind of went like that. And like I said, he's not the best player, but it was still a fun match, you know. I think the mistake, obviously, is trying to prevent me from getting the capture and just kept sacrificing his units. But it just goes to show, you know, these artilleries, you know, even having one makes a huge difference as far as holding a position. As you guys saw, this airport of his, even though he broke it open, he couldn't capture it. And that prevented him from building any air units. Again, I built the anti-air, but it wasn't even used to do anything really except for kill infantry. But having now 2 artilleries on each side, that really forms a big wall that even as Hawk, who has extra attack power, and not to mention a comm tower, so that's extra 20%, you can't break into your opponent's walls because it just doesn't work. And so once you try and attack into the wall, you will die. Because even if he uses a tank against my infantry on the plane to try to get to my artilleries, he only does 8 damage, right? So he would need 2, and you know, unfortunately, like right here with this mountain right there where my 8 is, you can't break through unless you use an anti-air, which he does not have. Now, even if he had the medium tank, sure, you can break through easily, but again, by that time, I have my guys reinforcing each other, right? So again, this is just another one of those matches where I feel like people who say that you can't really use artilleries offensively, you know, I think that's a mistake. This is where, you know, I thought it was really, really well played for me. I'm not a big artillery fan. My brother is, but I'm not. But in this match, I felt like I used them really, very well. Again, not the best match, but I just felt like sharing something Advanced Wars just because it's been a while. But overall, it was a fun match. You know, I was actually kind of worried about the Hawk versus Hawk mirror match because I'm not a big fan of mirror matches. I have a hard time dealing with going against the same power. But since we didn't end up using our powers, you know, not a big deal. Obviously, you know, who's to say that one of us couldn't slip up after using our powers. But at this rate, I think the guy really realized that he was probably going to lose, just because of the amount of units I have compared to him, and the positioning of my artillery is just perfect. There's no reason for me to attack, as so long as he keeps trying to attack me, and therefore I will eventually kind of, outnumber him, So that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed this little brief video. Like I said, don't be afraid to use artilleries. They're really useful, especially if you try to use them on attack. Obviously, if you're like Grit, for example, you can just build artilleries like crazy, and even if your opponent builds tanks, you can have artilleries as your walls in the front lines because they're cheaper and cost effective as far as Grit is concerned. But for someone like Hawk, where you don't actually have extra defense or anything like that, and it's all about offense, I think utilizing tank and artillery tactics, combined, makes a huge difference. And make sure you always build a bunch of infantry to build your walls. Again, like I said, this middle base, I didn't really build vehicles out of this one. I built infantry, right? I sent infantry both left and right. I didn't need to break open this pipe, because as long as you send the infantry to help your artillery build those walls, they'll never get touched. And so overall, it was a fun map. Wouldn't say it was the best, but it was fun, a little bit of entertainment. So if you guys enjoyed this, hit the like button, comment down what you guys thought, and of course subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more content. I'll try and see if I can put out more Advanced Wars stuff. Again, I've been kind of lackluster on the Advanced Wars stuff, but overall, I'm still having fun with it. So have a great day. Hope you guys have a great day, week, and weekend, and or month, whatever it may be, and see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned for that. If you guys have been watching stuff on my channel, again, we are doing Fire Emblem. My brother and I just finished Halo Reach, so we will start Halo 4 either next week or sometime soon. We'll see. And then of course I'm also doing Kingdoms of Amalur. We're about to start the Fate DLC, so if you guys are interested in that, be sure to check that out as well. So thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one. Bye bye.